on, hobby family? It is your boy K-Dub, and this is K-Dub's High Five. Five rapid fire questions with your favorite hobby faces. And today we bring in a true hobby family favorite. She is a card collector. She's a sports card influencer. She's a content creator. She is the one. She is the only Stephanie, aka Mama Breaks, on all social media platforms. How are you doing today?
Great. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, I'm so excited that we finally made this happen. I know that we've been kind of back and forth on the emails, so I'm excited that you said yes and that we can learn a little bit more about you and a little bit more about your collecting. Sound good?
Sounds great.
All right, five questions, all hobby related. They're coming at you one right after another. Ready to take on the high five?
Ready.
All right, first question for you. You are Mama Breaks. Walk us through a little bit like who you feel like you are in the hobby world or the social media hobby world.
Oh, that's such a great question. I definitely don't consider myself like a mom of the hobby. I consider myself an ambassador
Okay.
for parents.
Okay.
Honestly, I started this because I wanted to start a collection with my boys. And since then, I try my best to really just, connect families and encourage parents to share this with their kids and just have, even as adults, you can have a lot of adult fun with ripping and joining breaks and enjoying the hobby. So,
Yeah. And where does that come from for you in life? Like, how did you come up with this idea that I want to get my kids into card collecting and teach others about card collecting?
I just really loved sports growing up. I played softball and I love baseball. I remember ripping baseball packs, chasing, Kershaw and Rafael Furcal, my favorite players growing up, Eric Gagne, and Pokemon before then. And I just think it's a great, great hobby, a great, thing to do for fun. So during quarantine, I was teaching from home. I was a middle school teacher, English teacher,
Shout
and
out.
I just
I'm a
decided,
teacher as well. Very cool.
I just decided to get back into it. I started kind of hobbying, going to card shows, selling on eBay, vending, breaking on the weekends, and I decided to pursue this full time about 2 years ago. So
Oh, and you left the teaching world.
I did
Now, what grade did you teach?
seventh and eighth grade English.
That's exactly what I teach. It's
No
the best.
way.
Yeah, exactly. I'm in my classroom right now. So
Yeah.
um
Okay, okay.
yeah, it's my favorite age, my favorite subject area. So that's very cool.
100%. It's my favorite age. I feel like we get them at such a crucial and fun time. And just like what I used to do before is now I get to open cards and talk about sports, who I love all day. Before I used to just read with my students and I love reading. So
Yes, it's the best. It's the absolute best. Well, very cool. Well, I'm glad to know that we got that little connection going on here, teacher to teacher. So, well, let's talk a little bit about your influences when it comes to your card collecting. Like, how did you get into it? Who brought you into the sports card world? And then maybe we'll talk a little bit about kind of content creating and social media hobby after that. But who would you credit as like influences in your card collecting?
influences my card collecting definitely just has to be like my passion and fandom for Dodger baseball. I came
Okay.
in thinking like, okay, I'm gonna get some Kershaws, I'm gonna get some Sean Greens, some Adrian Beltres, Eric Gagne. So
Yeah.
that's definitely the heart of my collection there. Those are my main influences. I've learned a lot from, I guess some I've just learned a lot honestly from like browsing eBay and even really diving deep into these sets and the checklist and going back in time and seeing the incredible stuff that you can get cross sets, cross card manufacturers. I think I find a lot of my favorite thing to do is really go back and look at some of like the old upper deck baseball stuff, like
Yeah.
beautiful patches and on card autographs. That's really how I enjoy collecting the most, I think.
And did you collect as a kid or did you just get into collecting like later in life?
I collected Pokemon cards as a kid. So I
Okay.
think I was like 7 or 8 years old when I was obsessed with that TV show and definitely going to Toys R Us. I remember
For
buying
sure.
packs and booster boxes. Yu-Gi-Oh! I was really into as well. I remember Digimon had a trading card set as well. And that's just something I kind of always did as a kid, grew out of it. Like I said, started playing softball a little more competitively, started learning the game of baseball a little more and really started just opening packs that I bought from Target. But I grew up in South Central Los Angeles here and very, very Mexican American, and no one I knew collected cards. No one I knew
Mhm.
knew anything about cards. Even today, it's a very hard thing to explain to my family. But there, I my first card shop was as an adult,
Oh,
Burbank card
yeah,
shop,
yeah.
and I was maybe so the very first time I stepped into a card shop. I've never said this before. I think I was like 22 years old.
Wow. And when you were walking in, were you like, "Where's the Pokemon?" Or what was that moment like for you walking in the card shop at 22, never being in one?
Honestly, I think, I was very explorative of collectibles overall at that time, so I think I was, like, going into comic book shops
Okay.
too, and toy shops, and just kinda just learning as much as I can, and again, like, this is Burbank. Growing up in South Central, there's nothing like that, so definitely something that I pursued when I had more time, like, in college and stuff. Like, I remember between classes, since it was so close, like, I would just go and explore, but it was never something that I really immersed myself in
Mm.
until quarantine.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting
Mhm.
how many people kind of found their way back into the hobby when quarantine hit. I do a lot of these interviews, and a lot of them, the pandemic really kind of, I guess, brought back their appreciation for their sports cards or got them into sports cards. So very cool, very cool. Well, let's talk about the sports card for you. The Grail question: one card out there that you would love to have in your collection. What card is it? Is it and why?
Kershaw's Bowman Chrome, first Bowman Chrome, autograph in a blue refractor and a red refractor. That would be the Grail. Kershaw, to me, well, my first favorite player growing up was definitely Sean Green. I think he hit a
Yeah,
couple homers in my very first live
nice.
game at Dodger Stadium. But I quickly grew very fond of pitching. So Eric Gagne was huge. He was like maybe my first favorite player, but I really feel like I've grown up with Kershaw in a sense. His rookie year was like maybe my freshman, sophomore year, and that's when I really got into baseball.
Yeah,
I was rocking the Dodger gear every single day. I was clipping newspaper pictures from the LA Times. I knew the standings, I knew everybody's stats, and it really wasn't until Kershaw, his first couple of years that I really started competing
mm,
as a Dodger fan, seeing him throughout his career and getting MVPs and getting Cy
yeah,
Youngs and throwing a no-no and all that. It's just been an incredible experience, not only as a Dodger fan, but as a baseball fan. So Clayton Kershaw is my favorite player. His
I can tell.
first Bowman Chrome autograph would
Yeah,
be a
makes
grail
sense.
for me. So one day.
Have you ever met Clayton
No,
Kershaw? No?
no.
Now, I know a lot of people say, like, I've always heard, like, don't meet your heroes. Is he someone that you'd like to meet? Or are you like, nah, I'm gonna hold off on that if I ever get the chance?
The difficult thing about meeting athletes is I think about it a lot, but I just don't know what I would say,
Hmm,
and I guess I would love the opportunity to thank him for those memories, to thank him
yeah,
for, playing at a level and playing so so gritty, so with his heart that it's inspired me to be that way in life in
yeah,
a lot of ways. And
mm,
also just again being able to enjoy the game of baseball because he's had such an incredible career. That's the only reason why I would want to meet him, is to
sure,
thank him for that. And
yeah,
obviously that opportunity would be a very incredible, but
mm.
I'm not, I'm not gonna get crazy about it. So
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, I think that would be a meaningful conversation for any person, but especially an athlete to hear that you've impacted them bigger than just sports. So I hope you get that chance. I think that'd be really cool. So, all
thank
right,
you.
let's talk about product. You got all the money in the world. You can rip any box, past or present, in the history of sports cards. What box are you grabbing to rip and why?
I definitely would want to say something nostalgic, like a first base Pokemon set and all that. But the fact is I've ripped that before. So I would say I'd go with 1977 Star Wars New Hope
Okay.
set. Try to pull some Luke Skywalker, Vader, Leia rookies for sure. Would be
Okay.
awesome.
I've kind of looked through your channel. I noticed you do a lot of Star Wars stuff. What's the draw or the appreciation for Star Wars? I don't know the story behind that. So if you've shared that, I apologize, but I would love to hear what draws you into the Star Wars stuff.
That's something I think baseball connected me with my stepfather, and Star Wars has always connected me with my dad. And that's
Okay.
something that he always had on in the background growing
Mhm.
up. And even when I was older, we went to watch every single movie with him in theaters, and that was always something that I shared with him. So I love Star Wars. I feel like Star Wars has always shown up in my life, even when I've lost it and come back. I remember watching Rogue One and whenever that came out, what was it, 2016, 17, big time in my life for various reasons. And I just remember being very like, these hobbies and stuff for me have always come at times where I feel like I've needed them most. And they've always brought me a lot of joy, a lot of escapism, a lot of like good feelings.
Yeah,
So being able to do this with other people now and share that and hopefully like have that be that thing for someone else is what drives me. But yeah, Star Wars immediately I was like, okay, I gotta get some Funkos again. I gotta get some comics again. But I had no idea cards existed. And
yeah.
this was back when Rogue One first came out. So
Mm.
when I got into sports cards, very quickly I realized, hey, there's Star Wars cards too, and hooked. Hooked as well.
I love it. I love it. It's awesome to hear that. I mean, the connection to these cards is far bigger than just the cards. And I have that same connection with sports cards as well. Like my dad got me into sports cards, and then at a young age, my parents separated for 2 years. And during that time, my dad and I would go to card shops, and so the cards were just bigger than just names of players, but they were something that my dad and I could connect with. So hearing your connection as well,
100%.
it's a beautiful thing that a lot of people, I think, from the outside looking in, they're like, they're just cards, right? But to the people on the inside, they have a lot deeper meaning than that, and they mean a lot more. So it's cool to hear that connection that you have with Star Wars being bigger than just the movies themselves, but the person that you watch the movies with. So I appreciate you sharing that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, I got one more question for you here. As a female, I feel like you bring a different perspective to the hobby and even to these high five interviews. So, talk to me a little bit about like the changes that you've seen as a female collector getting into the pandemic, collecting to now. Like, what changes have you seen as a female collector?
I wouldn't say it's so much like to focus on the female perspective, but I think
Yeah.
just since then it's grown so much at card shows. There's
Mm,
way more card shows.
sure.
There's way more people at these card shows.
Yeah.
Like there's way more people making card accounts and sharing their cards on social media. So I think just overall the growth of the community
Yeah.
is what I've seen the most. And definitely, I feel there are way more women now than there were 3 years ago when I first started. And that doesn't mean that there weren't women collectors before. We're just seeing them
Mm,
come out to shows more and come out on social media a lot more. And
yeah.
I hope and I really do feel responsibility in that. And like I continue to be driven to show myself out on social media and go to shows and be a presence so that I can inspire others who are also already collecting. I mean, that's the thing. It's like it's not that women are collecting all of a sudden,
For
is
sure.
that women are collecting I think more openly
Yeah.
over time. So we're just going to continue to see that grow and grow more.
And I think you kind of hit the nail on the head with the social media presence. I think that's given a voice to a lot of people, like you said, not just the female, the male collectors, but for all people. We
Yes,
all have the
absolutely.
space to share, and like you said, I don't think it was absent beforehand, but I definitely think now that the social media piece has kind of connected us all. I think of Twitter, Instagram, those places. They're just one big card shop for a lot of us, where we can go, we can hang out, we can talk cards. But I think people like you, influencers like you, are giving more voices to people who before probably didn't have maybe the confidence or the courage to share out because they didn't feel like they had that space or that connection. So for you to be able to kind of take that responsibility and ownership is something to be recognized. So shout out to you for doing that, and shout out to the ladies who are coming out to share their cards, and the males
Yes,
as
thank
well coming
you.
out to share their cards. So
Everybody, I just love it. It's the more definitely like you said, we connect in our own reasons with the cards, but when you can share with other people, it just makes it so much more fun.
yeah, because you realize, you and I come from different spaces. You're from South Central. I'm from, Podunk, Washington State, and
Hmm.
but yet we have this connection over pieces of cardboard bigger than just the names on the cards or whatever, or the sport or the movie or whatever it is. We both can recognize these do more for our lives than just a monetary value or just something we put in a box. So it's pretty awesome.
Absolutely.
Very cool. Very cool. Hey, I got a bonus question. You had your own baseball card.
Yes.
I mean, talk to me. What is that moment like for you? when you, number one, find out you get your own card, but number two, you see your face on a baseball card? Like, what was that moment like for you?
Oh, just honestly, it's I like it's cliche to say like I keep pinching myself and can't believe all these incredible opportunities that I've received, and I'm super grateful. I take it the responsibility very highly. Like it invigorates me to serve more and and just serve more really.
Yeah,
But I think if I had to pinpoint like one feeling, it's just I can't wait to rip these boxes with my boys and try to pull my card when
yeah,
they're older.
yes.
Um, Having that card being something that my kids could remember what I've been working on and what I've been sacrificing for in this time that they've been young, is a lot. It means a lot to me. So
Well, I think it's pretty awesome, and I think you were recognized for a reason. And so I think you should, take. I know a lot of times it's like you got to stay humble, but take some pride in that because you were recognized for a purpose. And like I said, I think a lot of it has to do with you being a voice to a lot of people who maybe didn't have voices before. So shout out to you. I think it's pretty awesome, and I think it would be amazing to open a pack with my kids, and boom, there I am. I mean, there's no bigger
trust me.
flex. There's no bigger flex than that in the world. So
I don't
pretty
think
awesome.
either.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right. Hey, we cleared the list. We got a high five. Throw it up. High five at the end of high five. Boom. You can follow Stephanie on all social media platforms. Mama Breaks, at Mama Breaks, at Mama Breaks Cards. Please subscribe to her YouTube channel. All that will be in the description of this video. Also, make sure to subscribe to the channel, Dizzy Dub One. Follow me on Twitter or X at Mr. K-Dub. Shout out to our high five endorsers this season, Midwest Box Breaks and LJ's Card Shop. Mama Breaks, Stephanie, this was great. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this. I love chatting cards, but it's been really fun to be able to talk with you a little bit more about your collecting journey. So thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Y'all take care. We'll catch you guys next time on the next Hot Five.